I just think he's a special enough fighter, and he's gifted enough, and he's smart enough to win a boxing match with Canelo.
Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, the feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavy and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now. But I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
When a shocking sparring video hit the internet showing Terence "Bud" Crawford being knocked down by Carlos Adames, it sent the boxing world into a frenzy. Is Crawford vulnerable? Is he in over his head against a bigger, more experienced Canelo Alvarez? Or is this all smoke before the fire? As the September showdown inches closer, fans, analysts, and fellow fighters have started weighing in, not just on Crawford's chin, but on the monumental challenge ahead. This isn't just another fight, it's legacy defining. And if one thing is clear, it's that the road to Canelo won't be smooth. In this episode, we break down 14 explosive statements, reactions, and expert takes that unravel what's really happening behind the scenes of this historic clash. Let's begin. An old sparring video between Terence Crawford and Carlos Adames resurfaced online, showing Crawford doing everything he could to land a knockout, but instead getting dropped himself. While many fans are running wild with speculation, real fight enthusiasts know sparring doesn't define a fighter, it refines them. The clip might show vulnerability, yes, but it also reflects the intense training Crawford's pushing through to prepare for Canelo. Getting dropped in sparring isn't a career-defining moment, it's a wake-up call. It forces adjustments, humbles the ego, and creates room for growth. Adames is no slouch either, a powerful, high-caliber middleweight, and if anything, that footage proves Crawford is taking this challenge seriously. He's not staying comfortable, he's taking shots from bigger guys now so he doesn't fall later. Still, it's a warning, not just to Crawford, but to fans who believe he's untouchable. Despite the viral video, recent footage of Crawford in training paints a different picture entirely. Calm, focused, intense. You can see it in his eyes, he's not here to play games. Crawford knows this fight could cement his place in boxing history. The narrative isn't just Canelo versus Crawford. It's two undisputed champions colliding from opposite ends of the weight spectrum. Every punch thrown in training, every round sparred is Crawford preparing for a man who's not just heavier, but a pound-for-pound monster. What we're witnessing is not a man scared of being hit, but one preparing to deliver something unforgettable. Yes, the sparring knockdown caused noise, but Crawford's discipline drowns it out. He's training not to survive, but to win. That hunger might just be his secret weapon.
Well, the weight won't be the factor. The factor will be how Canelo chooses to make the fight. If Canelo comes out there what Canelo should do, Canelo wins the fight. If Canelo comes out and does...
When Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest to ever do it, weighs in, people listen. According to Roy, the biggest factor isn't weight, it's Canelo's decision-making. If Canelo sticks to his fundamentals, imposes his strength early, and controls the tempo, he can make Crawford uncomfortable. But if he strays from his plan, lets Crawford dictate the rhythm, it's a different fight entirely. That's the key. Crawford is a master of adjustments. Roy's analysis reminds us that boxing isn't just brute strength, it's chess. And Canelo's been guilty in the past of letting fights slip out of his hands due to tactical arrogance. The pressure isn't just on Crawford to come up and wait, it's on Canelo to fight smart or risk letting a smaller man steal the spotlight on one of boxing's biggest stages.
Can we get Bud and Canelo? Can we please get Bud Crawford and Canelo? I don't know if we're gonna see it, but man, I think that's what damn near all.
Even outside the boxing world, this fight has people buzzing. WWE star Big E passionately asked for this fight, saying what every fight fan's been thinking. Can we please get Bud vs. Canelo? That level of anticipation from athletes outside the sport highlights just how massive this event really is. This isn't just a title fight, it's a global spectacle. Canelo and Crawford are two generational icons, and their collision is drawing interest from entertainers, athletes, analysts, and casuals alike. Big E's remarks remind us that this bout transcends sport. It's storytelling in motion. Two champions, two divisions, one ring. That kind of energy is rare, and it's exactly what boxing needs.
I don't know, man. I can't root against Bud right now. You wonder if Canelo and the miles start to catch up. It's a great fight. Obviously, Canelo's the bigger man, but seeing Bud put some weight on, I won't root against Bud. Gun to my head, I'll go Bud Crawford.
When Big E added that despite Canelo's size, he can't root against Crawford, it revealed something deeper. There's a sense among fans and athletes alike that Crawford is special. The miles on Canelo's body are starting to show, while Crawford looks fresh, precise, and maybe even peaking. Putting on weight might slow some fighters down, but not Bud. And although Big E admits it's a close call, he leans Crawford because of his slick style, adaptability, and relentless hunger. Even with the sparring knockdown making headlines, some believe Crawford is the fresher fighter mentally and physically. The truth is, most people rooting for Crawford aren't ignoring Canelo's greatness. They're acknowledging that Bud might be boxing's most complete technician today, and that belief is spreading fast.
Knockout? A decision. I don't think he'd finish Canelo, but I think we'd see a decision.
While Big E favored Crawford, he didn't go all in on a knockout. In fact, he said he doesn't think Bud finishes Canelo. That opinion mirrors what many insiders feel. This fight might go the distance, not because of a lack of power, but because of both fighters' durability and IQ. Canelo has never been stopped. His chin is battle-tested across decades of wars with hard hitters. Meanwhile, Crawford is not reckless, he's surgical. If Crawford wins, it may come by points, by neutralizing Canelo's strengths, racking up clean shots and avoiding big exchanges. But make no mistake, even if this doesn't end in a knockout, it could still be one of the most thrilling 12-rounders in recent memory. A war of wills, a battle of rhythm, and possibly a controversial decision.
But I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo because, like I said before, he been pitting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So. So be it.
Rising star Jaron Ennis took a more cautionary stance. He warned that fans should probably lean toward Canelo, and his reasoning was chilling. Canelo's been knocking out guys who walk into the ring weighing 190, 200 pounds, guys way bigger than him, and he's dropping them like they're lightweights. That's no fluke. That's freakish power combined with experience and technique. Ennis doesn't doubt Crawford's skill, but he questions whether Bud has ever truly been hit by someone like Canelo. When you add the fact that Canelo isn't even a natural 168-pounder, but still dominates there, it emphasizes how risky this fight really is for Crawford. Ennis' breakdown isn't hating, it's honest. Power matters, and Canelo's got it in spades. This isn't a game Crawford can afford to play up close. Not for long.
Crawford should take a warm-up fight. At like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, the feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
Jaron Ennis didn't just warn Crawford about Canelo's power, he also offered strategic advice. He believes Crawford should have taken a warm-up fight at 160 pounds before jumping into a super fight at 168. Why? Because acclimating to a new weight class isn't just about putting on pounds. It's about learning how to carry that weight in combat, how to preserve speed while building strength, how to absorb punches from naturally bigger men. Ennis knows that Crawford Crawford's sharpness comes from activity, and skipping a tune-up could lead to timing issues or fatigue against a powerful counterpuncher like Canelo. This statement carries weight because Ennis isn't doubting Crawford's talent. He's acknowledging the real risk of ring rust and the importance of physical adjustment. Ennis is simply saying greatness is possible, but the climb to it should be smart, and in this case, perhaps more gradual.
If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
Israel Madrimov added a more nuanced breakdown to the discussion. According to him, if this fight goes the full 12 rounds, Crawford has the edge, but if there's a knockout, it likely belongs to Canelo. His reasoning is grounded in boxing fundamentals. Crawford's ring IQ and adaptability give him the advantage in a drawn-out strategic battle. He can shift gears mid-fight, find weaknesses, and exploit patterns. However, Canelo's power is the great equalizer. At 168, it only takes one mistake for the fight to change dramatically. Madrimov sees this bout as a chess match mixed with landmines. Crawford may have the finesse, but Canelo has the sledgehammer. That's why many view this fight as a genuine 50/50. The path to victory is clear for both. The question is, who walks it without stumbling?
Crawford all day. Crawford all day. He might stop him. I'm gonna bet, and I don't even bet. My son be doing all the betting. I don't do too much betting, but I'm gonna tell you, Crawford gonna stop him. Stoppage. I'm telling you, stoppage. I'm telling you, I'm sticking with that. He gonna stop him. Knockout.
When Shannon Briggs talks about knockouts, you pay attention. The man made a career out of ending fights early, and yet his pick here shocked many. Crawford by stoppage. That's not just bold, it's seismic. Briggs doubles down, saying he's putting his own money on it, even though he's not a betting man. His logic, Crawford's skill set, his punch placement, and his killer instinct are all being underestimated. He sees Canelo as vulnerable, not because he's weak, but because he's slowed down. Crawford, on the other hand, is laser-focused, fluid, and coming into the fight with something to prove. For Briggs to make such a confident prediction speaks volumes. It may not be popular, but it's passionate, and that kind of certainty coming from a heavyweight knockout artist is worth considering.
But I got Crawford. He too predictable. Canelo, he too slow. And he ain't going nowhere.
Shannon Briggs wasn't finished. He followed up his knockout claim by calling Canelo too predictable and too slow. According to Briggs, Canelo's decline is happening in plain sight. While the Mexican superstar remains technically sharp, his explosiveness and timing aren't what they used to be. Against an elite counterpuncher like Crawford, that predictability could be fatal. Briggs argues that Bud will read Canelo's patterns, exploit his slower movement, and use his superior reflexes to land clean shots. This perspective challenges the idea that power alone can win the fight. For Briggs, Canelo's decline in speed is more critical than his weight advantage, and if Crawford can see what's coming, he can take it apart. This breakdown adds yet another layer to the narrative. What happens when technique meets timing, and timing is just half a step behind?
He definitely can. He has the ability to pull it off for sure. Now, it's going to be a tough task. You're talking about Canelo Alvarez, one of the greatest fighters ever. So I think Terence is special, and it's going to take it takes a special fighter to move up multiple weight classes and still.
Veteran trainer Kevin Cunningham entered the conversation with a more balanced perspective. He firmly believes Crawford can beat Canelo, but he acknowledges it won't be easy. Cunningham calls Canelo one of the greatest ever, and that statement isn't just flattery, it's respect for a man who has faced elite competition for over a decade. But he also labels Crawford as special. Why? Because it takes a rare kind of talent to rise through multiple weight classes and still dominate. Few fighters can maintain their edge while constantly evolving. Cunningham's take is that Crawford's versatility ability, IQ, and confidence make him capable of pulling this off. Not just surviving at 168, but winning. It's not about domination, it's about opportunity. And if anyone can seize it, it's a fighter as gifted and driven as Terence Crawford.
And I think Terence Crawford has the ability, not to say he'll dominate Canelo Alvarez, but I think he's special enough to where he can find a way to expose Canelo's flaws. And
Kevin Cunningham didn't stop there. He believes Crawford not only has the tools, but can expose Canelo's flaws. That's a bold statement. Canelo isn't invincible, but very few have been able to crack the code. Cunningham implies that Bud's footwork, timing, and ability to switch stances could be the difference makers. He doesn't predict a landslide, he predicts a war, but a war where Crawford can make Canelo look human, and in doing so, redefine his own legacy. This isn't just about beating a champion, it's about outsmarting a champion in his own domain. Cunningham's faith in Crawford rests not on brute force, but in brilliance. And if Crawford wins, it will be because he made a great fighter look just a little less great under the spotlight.
I just think he's a special enough fighter, and he's gifted enough, and he's smart enough to win a boxing match with Canelo.
Finally, Kevin Cunningham capped off his thoughts by making one of the boldest claims of the entire discussion. Crawford is smart enough and gifted enough to win a boxing match against Canelo Alvarez. Not brawl, not run, not survive, win. In a game of skill, patience, and precision. That statement is daring because it flips the script. Everyone talks about power, weight, and strength, but Cunningham is betting on pure boxing. He believes Crawford's mind is his sharpest weapon, that he sees things in the ring others don't, that he can outthink a man who has spent 60-plus fights mastering his craft. If true, it sets the stage for a generational upset, and not because Canelo slipped, but because Crawford outclassed him in the one arena that matters most, the ring. When you stack all these insights together, one truth stands tall. This is not an easy fight for either man. Canelo is bigger, higher up in weight class, and stronger. He's walked through giants and conquered divisions that Crawford has never even stepped into. But on the other side of the ring, Crawford is special. He's adaptable, precise, and mentally unshakable. That's what makes this fight as tough as it gets. Every fan, every analyst, every fighter feels the tension because the stakes are historic. A win here doesn't just add to a resume, it redefines legacies. And no matter what side you're on, this is the kind of fight that reminds us why we love boxing. Because when greatness meets greatness, anything can happen. If you're hyped for Canelo vs. Crawford, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Boxy Hub, your one spot for exclusive breakdowns, expert opinions, and all things boxing. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a punch.